Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and students. I'm thrilled to be here, and thank you for inviting me. I was thinking of the topic I should speak of, and how can I add value to this talk, and what I can bring to this table to the students. And then it struck me, I should be giving same advice that I give to my own kids and my top management. I should talk to you about having the right mindset, or as we call it, the entrepreneurial mindset. Because the time has changed and we are seeing a shift in the people. The newer generation has a whole set of different thinking, and it is important to integrate their mindset with the experience of the older generations, which if done properly can lead to path-breaking success. Before I get into the topic I have chosen today, I want to share a little bit about my journey. I'm a MCom. After doing my BCom honors, although I was going to my small factory, which was created by my father when I was just 16 during my school holidays or college holidays. And then I joined him full-fledgedly at the age of 20. My grandfather was a school teacher, and my father, late Shri Dyanand Gupta, decided to go on a different path in 1968. He decided to make wires, which was unconventional. It was like cotton braiding on the cables, which are used for electrical appliances. I joined my father when I was just 20. My father saw my passion, dedication and fire to do something in life, and gave me a chance. Once I had proved my mettle to him, he gave me my full freedom. Although I also had the choice of going into a job, but I had the dreams and I wanted to do something big. And I had some vision in my mind how to transform my small company, which I was just operating on a small area of 2,000 square feet with a few some 100 workers, absolutely manual job. And I had a dream that how to convert that small business into a large business. This was at starting of my journey. I loved working. And this mindset of mine gave confidence to my father that I can do something. Today KEI stands at an annual turnover of 7,000 crore. When I joined my father, it was just 70 lakhs. So what aspect of business excited me? What made me want to become an entrepreneur? I believe that it was my ability to take big risks on myself and the company, follow my intuition, make bold decisions, and I had the motivation to make profits. Now, some of you will say whether you want to do a job or whether you want to do a business. Some of you want to do a business, or can you tell me by a show of hands who wants to do a job and who wants to be the successful? Almost, I know everybody will raise the hands that they want to do a job or a business to be successful. This talk is for everyone who wants to be successful. Because let me tell you, an entrepreneurial mindset is not just about doing business, it is much more. The entrepreneurial mindset is about creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, managing people, and training your mind for greater things in the life. Having a degree and skills is no longer enough. What we need today is a distinguished mindset. We need people in the companies and business with flexible and adaptable mindset, which is what an entrepreneurial mindset makes it. So the big question is, can you nurture an enterprise mindset, or are you born with it? And the answer will surprise you. Everyone in this room can develop this mindset. Do you remember yourself as an 8 or 9-year-old trying to sell lemonade or cupcakes? Do you remember how you tried to convince people to buy them? at an overpriced rate from you? Well, that was your business mind. So we all have business mind or that mindset. But we need a kick in that direction, and with the right training in the mind, we can achieve success in business. There are 7 things that guided me as I built my mindset, my business, and I hope that are valuable for you too. The first 3 are a bit personal, which focuses on the qualities that you must possess to become successful. Then next 4 are more professional, which focuses on how you should work your mind in the outside world. So the first advice is for you to foster a positive mindset. You must have heard of saying, watch your thoughts, they become word becomes actions becomes habits, and habits becomes character, and your character becomes your destiny. So you see, everything starts from your thoughts. If you think of a task and believe in it, you will be able to complete it, because as you think more and more about it, you will slowly start working in that direction, and that thought will become your destiny. If you say you cannot do this or that, you will not even try to work on that task. Your mind or body will shut it out. Positive thinking is not something people are just born with. Instead, it is something that you can learn over time. You can exercise your positivity muscle just as easily as abs at the gym. This is the simple reason why the law of attraction works. Attraction does not work like a magnet, meaning that you cannot sit on a couch and think of becoming a millionaire. It works because when you are thinking about it, you are working on it, towards it every minute of your time. Take a real life example. When you want to crack a competitive exam, you work so hard for it that you won't have time to think even about your meals or your food. That is what a positive mindset can make you do. A winning mindset also means that you need to become a leader. Whether you are running a business or working in an organization, remember, I said become a leader, not owner. There is a difference between the two. An owner is a position that comes from a place of feeling entitled. But a leader commands respect. Even for the most gifted individuals, the process of becoming a leader is very tough and a continuous journey of learning and self-development. Every person is shaped by their first experience. Ask a manager, how was your first time being a boss? If he is being honest, he will tell you a tale of disorientation and confusion. Whether you find yourself in an office cabin or on the factory floor, positive thinking at work is very powerful skill. Not only does a positive attitude helps you overcome adversity, but it also increases coping abilities, increase feeling of joy, enhances the immune system, and improves financial success. A study found that optimistic sales professionals outsells their pessimistic counterparts by 56%, as the research says, that employees are motivated to do their best when they feel appreciated. Connecting with the others in a meaningful manner helps you to cultivate positive thinking at work. You can start by emailing a co-worker and thanking them for their help or support. Lastly, be kind. You can avoid miscommunication by clearly sharing what you are feeling at the moment. The second advice that I have is we must train our mind to aim better in life. This is actually a pretty simpler rule. Let me ask you something. When you will work harder? Will you work harder in a situation when you need to get 50% marks, or in a situation when you need to get 85% marks? The answer is obvious. A topper will work harder when someone who is securing passing marks. This is because when we aim for higher, we work more, and when we aim for lower, we get stuck in a level of mediocrity, from where we lose motivation to jump higher. I can demonstrate it. Please stand up and try to jump a feet. Now try to jump 2 feet high. When did you put more energy and effort? It is because you had to jump higher, you used more force. That is why we must aim better in the life. I would advise you to use this logic while you are in college too. Think of why you are really here. Are you here just to enjoy this college experience, or just hanging out, or are you here to become the person you want to be in the life? And to add value to your resume, which will help you move towards the long-term goals. The third pillar of this mindset is of the discipline. There is a famous thinking that decision makes us start something and discipline makes us finish it. Whatever we do in the life, business, teaching, sports, profession, there is one thing in that we all have in common to excel. They all require the doer to have discipline. I want to share a personal experience. KEI is the official sponsors of the Royal Challengers Bangalore IPL cricket team. And in my capacity as a sponsor, I met Virat Kohli. When I saw him, I could see a sports person who was disciplined, passionate and dedicated. He follows a strict diet and a fitness regime. The discipline he has is no joke. Why does he do that? Why can't he just go out to a party and drink and eat? Why does he punish himself so much? This may seem like punishment for many, but for anyone who wants to achieve something, this is a way of life. I myself have tried to follow good habits over years and be disciplined in my approach towards my life. For many years now, I wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, no matter what time I sleep, to start my day. By breakfast, which I take at around 9 a.m., I have updated myself with everything happening in the company, finished my exercise, my morning prayers, updated my current affairs knowledge with newspapers, and I am prepared for the day ahead. So if you have self-discipline, you will lead a very different life. We may not like this self-discipline, but the truth is, without discipline, we will be nothing. Why did we do that? It is because if we lack discipline, we lack the power to say no to something and walk away from it. Entrepreneurs are often exhausted and overwhelmed and subsequently lose motivation. Self-care is a crucial element for avoiding burnout in the entrepreneurs. It includes learning how to say no to the tasks, how to delegate work, and getting enough sleep. Meditation or exercise or travel is also an important self-care tool that helps reduce mental fatigue and anxiety by being able to detach from your thoughts when they become overwhelming. Therefore, the idea here is that we must have discipline, the discipline to choose ourselves, our mind, our body every time, and to not let our health or life suffer because we did not prioritize it. My fourth advice for an entrepreneurial mindset or a professional mindset is that we all need to develop core competencies. What are the core competencies? Let us say that a large corporation is a tree. The core processes are the trunk, the business divisions are the branches, and the end product are the leaves. So we have the trunk, branches, and the leaves. What else we need in a tree? You see, we need roots. The core competencies are the roots. They provide strength and stability. They provide nourishment. If you only work on selling your product, you are focusing on leaves. We need to focus on the roots, which is what core competencies are. There are bridges between production and technology and the sales. How do you build core competencies? You can identify 3-4 things your company does better than others. Ask yourself 3 things. Does this help you gain access into wider markets. For example, the company BMW identified that engines are groundbreaking and technologically superior. They entered the European market, saw their engines are technologically advanced. They gave them a distinct edge in wide range of markets all over the world. Some companies are great in tapping new products and markets to grow. Those emerging and groundbreaking companies are called blue oceans. A study says that in next 10 to 20 years, many of the top 500 organizations in the world may no longer exist. How shocking is that? The reason is that the most of the organizations will not be able to cope with changing technology. Look back 100 years and ask yourself, which companies known today were unknown then? The answer is that some industries as basic as automobiles, music recording, aviation, petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, and management consulting were unheard of. So none of these industries existing in a meaningful way many years back. So these industries created new businesses, recreated the existing ones. They underwent deep changes. It seems clear to us that blue oceans will emerge and strive. Second is, does it contribute to the perceived value of the product? Does the customer makes a decision based on your competency? Today, KEI has always, let me tell you about my company. KEI has always focused on its core competency, its quality and its services and responsiveness to the customers. By providing a good product and with quality service, KEI has been able to build a good perceived value of these products. Today we see a global shift. We see there are technological advancements everywhere and trade barriers are falling. At the same time, the evidence of increased demand is very less, as most populations have stabilized. So demand is stabilized. This means that the customer is in the dominant position, and this has led to price war and has shrunk profits. As a products being increasingly similar, consumers are making decisions based on their choice and their perceived value. Then the last thing is your competency hard for competitors to copy? KEI has worked hard on its products in a way to gain a competitive advantage due to its quality. Many years ago, I tapped this extra high voltage cable market. Today, we are the leaders of that segment. The ability to produce world-class cable which can be sold in international market has become our competency. The tendency of the corporate strategy to focus on winning against rivals was demonstrated by many companies in Japan, and which led to downturn of Western companies. As competition mounted in the global marketplace, everyone said the company's success and failure was because of the competition. Today we use a more sophisticated term, competitive advantage. Companies are often driven by, I have pushed my company to compete at international level. Even in our new project, we have set up the project in a manner that most of the competitors from India and many in the world can't compete with us because of the cable length we are offering in the market, which leads to reduced cost for the customers and the time for installing the cable. The last thing is how to manage people. Well, I find that the psychology of motivation is intentionally complex. Let us start with the quickest way to motivate people, money. However, this money is a cost to the company. The second most obvious answer is job satisfaction. By what if the person needs training? The training will also cost time and efforts. And so we discovered some other basic motivations. The first is reducing time spent at work. I saw that most offices start at 9:30 or 10 a.m. and people walked in at 10. By that time, the morning was over. So, to compensate for that, the employees were sitting late in the office. So, what we did? We started our office working at 9 o'clock so that we finished by 5. Three good things happened. The employees left home and the kids went to the school, and mornings were utilized. The employees did not waste time getting stuck in the traffic. And the final key to an entrepreneurial mindset is the good decision-making skills. A good leader is a good decision maker. A good leader will balance emotions and reasons and make decisions that positively impact them and the employees around them. When you think of a leader, you will never have an image of a man who is confused and lost. And entrepreneurial mindset will put you in the position of a leader, and a leader means that you will often have to make challenging decisions. Making good decisions in difficult situations in no small feat, because these decisions involve change, uncertainty, anxiety, stress, and sometimes are unfavorable reactions to the others. Great leaders also know that sometimes they have to move quickly and proceed with the available information, and sometimes they will have to take more time and gather additional information. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your emotions and those of others, is one of the most important qualities a leader must possess. This is why and what a leadership does is so important. A leader's mood will resonate with others and set the tone for emotional climate in an organization. So, what is emotional intelligence? It basically means that you must be aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. So, to take effective decisions, you must keep some things in the mind, decide if you want to act immediately or collect more information before you respond. Respond, but don't react. Be aware of your emotions when you are taking decisions. Acknowledge the emotions, but don't let them guide you. Have faith, confidence, and be brave. Have faith in the higher energy that will guide you. One must be brave. We must learn to be brave and not get upset in every situation. And finally, develop your mindset to have confidence in yourself. Lastly, a smart entrepreneur will always follow his intuition. Intuition is your gut feeling. It is the inner voice which will guide you. Unfortunately, in our non-stop, busy technology-filled world, it is very easy not to hear our intuition. It is always speaking, but we are often not listening. And this is why I conclude by saying the same thing in the beginning. Whether you want to do business or you want to do a job, you need an entrepreneurial mindset to stand out and listen to your intuition. Thank you. Thank you very much.